Welcome everyone to this maybe live stream. Can we live stream from the ThinkPad? Also, actually, not really on the camera, right? Also, as you may or may not be able to see, Rendition Verité. Let me. This is the most clever setup here, anyway. So, ThinkPad may be visible there. Not faking the ThinkPad, not that we really need to with this powerful Core i7. But whatever, welcome to the audience, to the more random live stuff. So the good news is, this was not the most clever, the setup. This comes from having too much stuff on the desk, too many mouses, power supplies, you name it. Just some ad hoc test setup here, seeing how many drop frames load actually quite well. Anyway, so the good news is this Rendition Verité here on this AMD K6, actually 500 megahertz or something. Anyway, right now it's running massively underclocked because Windows 95 doesn't like so many clock cycles. Doesn't want to boot with whatever iOS crap, you name it. The good news is this is a Rendition Verité that very theoretically we could probably unlatch here and then rip out the power cable. So that is indeed the card here to documents. It's not that later people say, but that wasn't it. Can we also focus check, or do we need manual focus for that fun? Also wonder why it doesn't manual focus that, but whatever. Yep, there we have it, although totally sketchy setup here anyway. I guess you get the idea. So that works, that is the good news. The bad news is Windows 95 driver crap. I already plugged in a CD-ROM, so when you see the vintage videos, it's always everything is amazing, and then you try to set it up yourself and said, yeah, okay, I know. I remember why I actually didn't do the Windows thing, because the card works. That is a good thing, although I should, as usually, not destroy it here with shorting here the stuff on the board. But then comes the painful part of having to, no CD-ROM here. I connected the CD-ROM, it does show in the BIOS, but of course we need annoying DOS drivers. And I already inserted my, it's this time of the day, apparently can't speak as amazing anymore. Already inserted my Quake 1 backup that I should probably also have the original for somewhere. But CD-ROM driver. And then theoretically maybe a Rendition Verité driver. And then another hour or two will be gone fighting with all the drivers, actually searching for this DOS driver crap. Painfully installing it, maybe even. Anyway, I need a better setup here for this vintage crap, because connecting random stuff and then having no driver installed certainly doesn't cut it very much. Also for me, as much as you want to grow an YouTube audience, as much is it annoying to set up here all the vintage stuff. And then you also see desktop Linux in 2019 much more amazing than Windows 95, because driver hell, you name it. Welcome, Devi, evening. Bonsoir. So this card works, and again, I can better spend an hour writing amazing low-level code here than fighting with this bloody driver situation. I already downloaded because Rendition Verité was one of the maybe first hardware accelerated Quake versions there. That would be amazing. That of course back in the day I didn't had, and would be really amazing to see, but then another hour or two. No, I need to go to home and such. Anyway, this works, and should we? The problem is I have also this added a channel card to test, but plugging in that will anyway not work, just work in Windows, so I probably just plug it into the Windows, the Linux machine. Yeah, 2019 when plugging it into a Windows machine is more amazing than figuring that out. Anyway, if you have tips for this DOS stuff, because yeah, the stream is buffering. Why? Ah, damn, so many drop frames. Why? 2019. What is going on with that? Thanks for that warning. Anyway, this was just testing, and testing failed. Is the audio still running, or is it totally dead? But we have the ThinkPad, so it's not TG3. We have Ethernet outgoing, but indeed 20% drop frames, 2595. Can't make that up. I would hope, but is it... Well, it's not thermal throttling here just yet, though. I mean, in that regard, the ThinkPad is better than the Mac Mini, because the Mac Mini with this OBS load is thermal throttling. What's your Google? What's my Google? What? Let's see. What is my Google ping? Google ping is... just pinged something. Actually, I pinged Heise. So Heise ping is 21 milliseconds. Which is my... Let's see, camera and something. Yeah, that is it. Google. Google ping is 26.53 milliseconds, you name it. 20% drop frame 3000. Yeah, Vodafone cable in Berlin because internet in 2000. And then you see to the recurring, but probably also need to have a better camera setup. So yeah, just coming back here from traveling and such, and here we are. Camera scenes and stuff, cables all over the place, HDMI over, no, below my chair. And anyway, just a nightly test. I'm already happy that this rendition works, because it was eBay shut down and shut down. I slightly wonder, because the card is extremely without dust. I already thought maybe it is nearly unused. However, it has some scratches here, so from the VGA connector, so it was used. It is not like new old stock, but it is completely dust free. I wonder if they wiped it off or it was in the dust mine, but this VGA port actually looks pretty scratched, so I really wonder what's up with this dust free card. And still quite some scratches on the VGA connector, but anyway, whatever, it works. And yeah, so new laptop. As you see, whatever is a frame drop, do we have more? 17 years, so it calmed down. So far I think the battery life is less than the Carbon X, the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, surprisingly. Also not quite crotch cram here. So yeah, the X1 Carbon for some reason had a battery life of regular work of 10 hours. This might only have 6. Whatever is up with that. Otherwise, as I said, in a way the ThinkPad reviews are just so slightly, it's of course funny here, recommended current bitrate 7.5 Mbit is higher than recommended. Although I prefer to have such a high bitrate just for the high fidelity of that. And yeah, so battery life slightly less than the X1 Carbon. And so from that point of view, also Ethernet is the same dongle. So yeah, Ethernet dongle galore, which we are not the greatest fan of. I really wish they did. Yeah, it's a S1, so they changed it 2 or whatever years ago. As probably the unboxing, it's in a way a little bit boring to unbox or review ThinkPads because they are just so similar and you can just spec it in regards to form factor, performance and such as you like. Then all the SKUs are not that different, of course, and that is, yeah, as I said, not entirely the dream configuration because I would have chosen the non-S. Let's just restart the stream. I'm thankful, so as I said, no strings attached. They didn't tell me I can't talk negatively whatsoever, so no thumbs up for maybe less battery life than the X1 Carbon and of course the Ethernet dongle situation there, but again you have SKUs for that. Otherwise amazing, and long-term stuff we see the next days, and at least it's not overheating, thermal throttling with OBS. So from that point of view, yeah, it's still not thermal throttling, and from that point of view it is much better than the 5-year or so Mac Mini with the Core i7 4 cores or what that was, because that is thermal throttling, as well as the Retina MacBook Pro, which is of course a 45 watt part, 15-inch from late 2013 or something, although I probably bought it in 2014 or something like that. So only, yeah, also 5 years old anyway, aging crap. So both of those thermal throttle massively. You have seen all the struggling live streams. So from that regard, how much? So OBS is indicating a CPU load of 4%, which is of course amazing for that. Where's our pointing device? And even if we switch to dual desktop VGA capture, which by the way, maybe we change the screen capture to the other screen just for the non-mirror effect. I'm waiting for high performance RISC-V fully Libre laptop. Yeah, that will probably take a couple of years, especially if you're looking for very high performance, because the RISC silicon out there is of course not yet as super scalar and high performance and whatsoever. Also, the vector extension for single instruction multiple data is not yet set in stone. Certainly nobody's currently implementing this, I guess. And then Clifford Wolf himself, from Rock Linux creator to Pico RISC-V and FPGA, open source FPGA toolchain fame, is working on a bit extension for all kinds of bit manipulation, including all kinds of shuffling and whatnot. I actually read over it another flight, but anyway, the details would be too long for me finding home now. Anyway, here, so this stuff works. Driver installation is a pain. Leave in the comments below how you find the installation. Of course, in a way, well, that is a pain with DOS and Windows, right? For DOS, if you have a Sound Blaster, which I would, yeah, either slot, we can plug in a Sound Blaster. Also, I need to connect. Next time, right now I have all the devices plugged in single USB ports, which is of course annoying, and that is why I don't have the amazing Sun keyboard in the next time. Why? Because I have my USB-C dock in the luggage at home from the traveling, just came back last night. So my USB-C dock not here, that I would need for a more amazing one dongle setup here. And then, yeah, DOS games, so X-Wing or SimCity just works. That is of course a little bit annoying in the age of Windows 95 games like the Rendition Verité. That probably only works, although I could theoretically try it. I have, but we probably still need the DOS CD-ROM driver. I already loaded the Rendition Verité patched Quake 1 version there. And then as soon as it's loading, of course, it is way more fun. Maybe we even do a live stream of X-Wing. X-Wing, of course, even runs on 386. So we could then, maybe for simplicity, we just use the same rig here. But otherwise, as soon as Quake 1 works here, after an hour or two of that. By the way, maybe I could just, I grab some lemonade stuff. 1 second. So it's not a paid advertisement for this Club Mate stuff, but they certainly should sponsor it. And yeah, as soon as it works, it will of course be amazing, and then it's fun. But leave me in the comments below what you think about the vintage retro situation. Is it worth fighting with this bloody Windows nonsense and DOS drivers, or is it fun, or is it a waste of time? Do you want to see it or not? Otherwise, any other data points you want so far it works. We have HDMI on this display, USB. Well, this cheap USB thing always have some strange disable of device initiated U2, U1 and U2 fill, whatever that is about. But it is working, as you see this. Maybe how many frames do we even have? It should be, well, OBS. But well, this is a ultra cheap Chinese 80 bucks HDMI USB 3 capture thing that is not amazing, so whatever. And this bloody HDMI capture thing had this strange warnings there and intermittent hiccups on any machine. And in any case, the USB 3 host controller interface there is Intel anyway, so even that is not Lenovo's fault anyway, but most likely more the cheap Chinese no-name thing. Anyway, hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed this. Leave me in the comments below if you enjoy just randomly hanging out here on a live stream. Wish I would have just Quake 1 running, but then yeah, driver crap, and that is, yeah, that part that is not so much fun for me. But maybe for others, like the other ones we had here, this huge comment fight of someone accusing me of being too stupid to install chipset drivers when for the Voodoo card, certainly some huge Voodoo fan anyway. Anyway, now it's time to go home. See you tomorrow or something like that. I have some drivers to install. And yeah, then also, by the way, I took a look. Fun fact, to have more educational fun already, because I loaded the Quake 1 stuff, maybe even on an airport or something like this yesterday. The Quake 1 patched version of Rendition Verité 3D support, and it comes with microcode, thankfully, as well as version 1, Rendition Verité 1000 and 2000, which I got here, of course, the 2000 version. And that comes with microcode files, just what we have disassembled another live stream 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. And so this disassembling stuff works in theory, just that the microcode for Quake does not come with symbols. So on the disassembly on the other live stream, I showed that that had symbols, so you could see the function names and the entry points, like bit and whatever, in the Windows and used by the X11 driver, the Xorg driver, but the Quake code does not come with a section of symbol names there in the ELF file. But however, it is the same ELF file, so this is not like an Xorg driver, because when I disassembled this, I speculated, or I wondered, is it a Windows thing? But they wrote they're directly taken out of the Windows driver, so apparently shipping this as a proper ELF binary was a thing, and even the Quake microcode comes with ELF, and it just works with my, as shown in the YouTube video. If you want to disassemble this, just that it doesn't have symbol names, so you don't know what all the, well, at least you don't have the entry points. Otherwise, you could take a look on the disassembly and see what they have done there. And yeah, hopefully we have it working soon, another day or weekend. And that's it for today. And I hope to see you soon for all the next live streams and stuff to come. Trackpad is certainly not connected today.